Warning, this video contains spoilers, blood, gore, and intense violence. Hey guys, and welcome to another game review. Today's game that I will be reviewing is Doom Eternal, released in 2020, and its platforms have been the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. I also want to note that all of the gameplay clips in this video were recorded by me during my playthrough for this review. So without further ado, let's get into the review. So the first thing I want to talk about is story. And to be honest, this game had your usual Doom story, where you, the Doom Slayer, set out on a mission to destroy all of the demons, which is kind of the Doom Slayer's only real purpose in life, is killing all the demons. But you aren't going to be able to achieve that goal alone. On your mission, you will require the help of some other characters, such as Dr. Hayden, who actually in the previous Doom game at the end betrays you. And you also require the help of the Betrayer. Now the Betrayer, I will say, is kind of... I would have to say he's my only real complaint about the story of this game. And the reason for that is, I don't really get the character. It's like, okay, you have to go to him to get a power cell for the Celestial Locator. The Celestial Locator is the thing that is going to help you locate the last of the Hell Priests. And the Hell Priests are the ones kind of unleashing demons on the world. But you have to go to him to get that. And they kind of build the character up, like, kind of make you think that he's going to be a prominent character in the game. But whenever you meet him, that is the only cutscene that he will actually be in, and the last time he will be mentioned in that game is that one cutscene where you see him. And you don't learn anything in that cutscene about the character, like what did he do to earn the title, the Betrayer. Like, they just don't explain that. He clearly did something to deserve it, but they never tell you what that is, so that would be one complaint about the story that I would have. But not everybody wants to help you stop the demons. There are characters who are going to get in your way, most notably the Con Maker. The Con Maker basically is the ruler of the place called Urdak. And Urdak is kind of this, like, sci-fi-y, super cool sort of place that's kind of like the opposite of hell, I guess, kind of, though it's not really the greatest place. But basically, Urdak and the Con Maker makes a deal with hell so that basically the demons will process souls, and those souls create Argent Energy, and that Argent Energy will basically keep Urdak alive. So the Con Maker is trying to stop you from, you know, killing all the demons, because without the demons, there is no Argent Energy, and no Argent Energy means no Urdak. So I thought all in all this game story was very good, but it just had basically that one thing that I didn't care for. So I'm going to have to give this game, for story, a score of 9 out of 10 for story. I thought the story was very good, it just had that one thing that I thought they could have done better. The next thing I want to talk about is graphics, and this game did not disappoint in any way. I mean, just look at the scenery. The cityscapes look awesome. The hellscapes are amazing. Urdak was like a completely different style than anything else in the game, which just worked beautifully. And the castle areas with all the vines on the walls and the little details just everywhere was just, honestly, the castle places were just perfect. The demons all looked really, really, really cool. Like the Ravon, the Macabus, the Tyrant looked amazing, the Barons, the Juggernauts, oh, what else was there? The Ravengers looked really cool. The guys on the, like, hoverboards were pretty cool too. Just everything. All the demons looked amazing. And then the bosses in this game all looked really cool, like the Gladiator. I thought the Gladiator was really neat looking with his shield and everything. That was just really cool. And I thought the Con Maker was very, very well designed. And they almost looked like the opposite of the demons, which was just perfect. And then I thought that the final boss, the Icon of Sin, was one of the most amazing things I have ever seen in any game I have ever played. That thing just looked so cool. And all in all, just this game looked really perfect. I also thought the guns, I want to say that the guns also looked really, really cool. Especially of course, the BFG. The super shotgun also had a lot of really nice detail. Same with the rocket launcher. The rocket launcher looked really cool. Just everything about the game looked really perfect. So I'm going to have to give this game, for graphics, a score of 10 out of 10 for graphics. The graphics in this game were perfect. So the third thing I want to talk about is gameplay. And whenever I'm doing my reviews, gameplay is the main thing I take into consideration when I'm coming up with my final scores. And this game mechanically was really perfect, and the Doomslayer's controls were perfect, really. I liked the different guns and how each gun had its own use, and each gun was useful. I used literally every single weapon throughout this game. And I also liked the weapon upgrading system, and also the armor upgrading system. I thought both of those were really good, and how you had to find the weapon upgrade things and the armor upgrade things. One thing I did find kind of funny was the armor upgrade things. The little tokens look like a giant quarter. I just thought that was kind of funny, but all in all, the gameplay mechanics were really, really good. And I also thought that the ship idea was really good. This was kind of the first Doom game to have a central hub where you go to all the missions from. And from the ship, throughout the levels, you can collect these batteries, and from the ship you can use those batteries to basically buy upgrades and armor skins and stuff for your character. I thought that was a really good idea. The only thing that I would have to say about the gameplay that I didn't care for was actually two things that I didn't really care for. One of which, I thought a lot of the battles were just a little bit too long. Some of those later battles in the game could take 6 to 8 minutes to complete. I just thought that was a little bit too long, and you kind of got to the point around halfway through the battle where you just can this just end, please? I've had enough of this battle already. Another complaint I would have to have about the gameplay would be the bosses. I actually didn't care for really any of the bosses. I thought visually they were good, but I didn't care for them mechanically. Like the first boss, you have that guy who's on the, on the hoverboard thing. I didn't like that boss because it really didn't feel like a boss. It just felt like a normal battle, and it really was just a normal battle because you fight that guy later on in the game 20 times. Same with the next boss, the Ravager. Yet again, you fight that guy 20 times throughout the game. He's really not a boss, though he is treated like a boss. Then you have the Gladiator, and the Gladiator, though he was visually amazing like all of the other bosses, he was just kind of a glorified Ravager. His attacks and the way you hit him and everything were all exactly the same as the Ravager. He just had a bigger health bar. Then you have the Con Maker, and the Con Maker was honestly just too hard. I felt like there was so much harder than anything else in the game. They took way too many hits. The Con Maker, you had to hit a bunch of times with a powerful weapon. I used the Ballista, and then you had to use your super shotgun to grapple up to them and hit them. But you had to do that 5 times, and it got harder every time. and I just found that really annoying, and I died there a bunch of times. Now there's this one mechanic in the game I really like, where if you die too many times, like if you die a certain amount of times, it'll let you respawn with basically stronger armor, which makes you, you know, a lot stronger, which can really help you if you got hung up on something in the game that can help you get past that. And then you have the final boss, the Icon of Sin. Though it did look amazing, I didn't like the fight at all. It was, you know, neat in theory that you had to break the individual parts of the demon, but it was too long. That boss took me, and I didn't die at all. I did that boss first try, and it took me 18 minutes. 18 minutes of straight fighting demons and shooting at the Icon of Sin. That was just way too long, in my opinion. But I did enjoy the game. I really enjoyed the game, and mechanically, the game was sound, so I can kind of get past, you know, those things that I didn't really like. So I'm going to have to give this game, for gameplay, a score of 8 out of 10. That is a great score, and I definitely did find this game very fun to play. Alright, so just two more things I want to talk about before I give you all the final score for this game. And the first of those two things is difficulty. I found this game to be quite difficult. In the earlier stages, I would actually say it was quite easy, but I would say the second half of this game was quite hard. Especially whenever you get into Urdak, a lot of the fights in Urdak were very difficult, and I died on each one of those at least once. And also, as I said before, the bosses in this game were quite difficult, especially the Con Maker. That fight was so hard, and that final boss, the Icon of Sin, was really an endurance match. Something else that was quite difficult in this game was the platforming. This Doom definitely had more platforming than any of the other previous Doom games. And it was quite difficult platforming, especially where you had to like jump from like those floating coffins in the air, like from coffin to coffin. That was very difficult at times. So I'm going to have to give this game, for difficulty, a score of 8 out of 10. I would definitely have to say that this game was quite hard. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before giving you all the final score for this game is playthrough length. And this game was longer than most of the Doom games, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it was a long game. It just means it wasn't super short, because most of the Doom games are fairly short. This game took me a total of 10.5 hours to complete. And on this playthrough, I did, of course, the main campaign, and I also found about half of the extra stuff in the game, like hidden things and action figures and stuff like that. But there is a fair amount more stuff that I could do in the game, one of which is actually play the original Doom and Doom 2, because if you go on Doomslayer's computer, on his ship, there are actually playable copies of both of those games that do need to be unlocked, but they are there and they are completely playable, and you can even like save at, you know, different points of them and stuff. They're literally working copies of the original Doom games. So it is now the moment you have all been waiting for. It is time for the final score. And this game's final score is 8.8 out of 10. I thought this game was really good. That is a great score, and I just had a lot of fun playing this game. So thanks for watching, and make sure to sub, like, and comment below.